Hello and welcome to my first GTA 4 editing tutorial. I'm going to give some tips and tricks on using the editor and how to use markers, moving between markers, in other words camera movements, and some other tips. First, as you know, you're going to need to pull out your cell phone, and it's usually at the bottom, video editor. When this loads up, the first screen, which shows all the clips. All of these clips are watchable in this screen, but the real magic happens on the editor tab. Going straight to the editor, creating a new video by double clicking. There's two ways that I know to put clips onto the timeline. The first is to just simply double click. The other way is to drag and drop, which actually is a little more precise because you can drop it where you like it, versus when you double click it must follow the one before it. The clips start on the right and then go to the left and then go up to the upper right and then go left again. So if you want your clips to appear in the sequence that you shot them, for example, I'm going to be doing these top two clips in this video. I would want this one first, so I would double click and then I would just double click on this one and they would appear in the right order. Press F6, which saves your video. First thing to do is to go in by double clicking on the clip. All my graphic settings are low. I both play and edit on low settings. The three bars on the top, left and right, represent the beginning and end of the video. You can actually click and drag these. You can't actually drag it past this, which is the shuttle. So this allows you to shorten or lengthen the clip itself. When you only want a short part of the clip, you would basically place the shuttle where you'd like the clip to start and then just drag. Now the clip starts from there. At this point, what I usually like to do when I first start is just play the clip through to see what I have. A good shortcut is to use B, which goes to the beginning, and I'm just going to hit space bar and watch the clip play. Whoa.
Everybody wants to touch me. Why? Damn it.
I'm not sure if I want this car being blasted. Just for the sake of it, I'll show you some basic stuff here. This drops a marker. There, place marker. Another shortcut for it is M, so that's what I'm going to do. Press M, drops a marker. This is where the magic happens. You have a lot of control over filters, for example, which change the color. This tweaked one is actually not bad, and I found that in certain situations it does improve things a little. There are quite a few of them, and for now I'm just going to leave it on none. Speed is also another thing you can change. You can increase by increments of 50, then 25, and then 75 more, which is interesting. But going the other way, I'm doing this by left clicking and right clicking. Going back to 100 by clicking right, the next jump is 45, and then 30, and then 15, and then they give you a 5, which is really slow. Turns out to be pretty handy. Tip is to, when you're finished your video, depending on what you intend to do with it, to reduce the speed to at least 45 and then output your video. And when you're in your nonlinear editor, you can actually shrink the clip, hence speed it up to a more normal speed. Sometimes I drop to 45 when I'm outputting, and then in Vegas speed my clips up again. It's actually worked pretty well in some cases. Audio, you can change the main audio. I haven't really messed with too much on this. Turning the speech off is important, especially in the case of this grandma, who in my last video was actually uttering things like, hey, it's an ugly city, but it was Nico saying it, which kind of ruins things. So you would be able to click on or off. It's just speech. If you have music track, this allows you to lower the music volume. Okay. The last and most important is camera. Preset camera is what the actual default camera is when you first start a clip. It comes up as preset. There's always one marker at the beginning of every clip. I'm going to just click on this and hit delete to delete it. I'm going to hit B to go back, and you use the greater than, less than to navigate between markers in your video. Right now I'm going to push the less than sign, which is left, and bring up the marker. Now there's several that you can have a look at that are presets. This one's interesting, and this is not bad either. In fact, just for a laugh, I'm going to show you this. It puts a little bit of wiggle on it so that it looks like there's a person following very close behind, and that looks like the person that's supposed to, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to change this to custom. Now, what you have right away is a lot of control over where the camera is placed. You can also use W to go in, S to back out, and use your right mouse button and hold it while you're moving your mouse. You can rotate around the subject. Another thing that you can do is use the wheel up. Wheel up raises you, and wheel down lowers you. You'll notice down here that in my case, the key that I've assigned to slash is an acceleration button. So whatever you do, except rotation, of course, while you have that pressed and held, accelerates. So if I was to go in slowly, and I'm going to hold the slash and back out quickly, it goes much quicker. Now these are the limits of the target cam, which is not too bad. It's good for most situations if you want the camera to follow every move the player makes. But often I want my videos to look like they are being viewed by people with cameras, like little handheld devices or whatever. I'm going to do some experimentation on that. Let's first of all now demonstrate the free cam. This is a lot more free. This allows you a lot more freedom of movement. I'm holding the right mouse button now, which only allows me to pan. If I use the A and D keys, I can go left and right. And now W, S, A, and D are how I actually move around in the scene. Using my right mouse button and a combination, I can actually rotate around to approximately where I would like the camera to be. Now this is a static camera, so when I press play from here, she will actually run off the scene. I'm going to let it play for there. What happened was it created a marker automatically because the player went out of range of the camera. The camera's static. In the bottom left of the screen you can see this radar. The red represents where the camera can be pointing in any direction. So what I'm going to do is use the S key to back up a little, and you can see that the camera is indicated, the camera icon indicates that direction the camera is facing, and that the arrow in the middle represents the player and where they're facing. Now inside the red zone, if I was to point in a different direction and start going forward, there, it stopped me because you cannot go outside of this red area unless you're pointing at the player, or the player is within some sort of range of the view. So in order to proceed farther out, that is the maximum. In this range of the double circle, it's sometimes not good to put a camera, because one slight move by the player in that direction before they turn in this direction can cause that automatic marker to be dropped. So what I like to do is just move in slightly so that my lens is just poking in, or perhaps the entire triangle that represents the lens on the line. This allows me to also place complex camera movements if I can landmark where that little icon is, so I can approximately stay for the same distance from a person that I want to in progression. This is something that I'll be showing you shortly.